afternoon, everyone. Just coming on here. Been a while since I've been on. It's just the way life is sometimes. I apologize for the light coming from the car and whatnot. So what we're going to talk about today, obviously, is all the public stuff going on in Israel. Obviously, everybody has opinions on it. It's kind of unfortunate that we have a lot of people who support terrorism, and that's to say they support Hamas. But honestly, I think that it's hard to separate Hamas and the Palestinians, but there are obviously good and decent Palestinians that want just a peaceful life and be able to live their life in peace. We obviously know there are some there, obviously, but it's growing increasingly more difficult to be able to separate the two. Same with Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah. It's hard to separate the terrorists from the population when a good portion of the population supports the terrorists. So it's very difficult. But we do know that there are obviously good people who just want to live their lives, that live in Gaza, that don't want to have to deal with any of this from either side. We know this. And those are the people we want to, obviously get out of harm's way. So, in saying that, obviously I am for the state of Israel, the right to defend themselves after they were attacked. Irregardless of what you think of Israel or what you think of Hamas, what Hamas did was wrong. They attacked a sovereign nation, unprovoked, crossed their border with approximately 1,000 people, depending on which news outlet you believe, which is essentially about a battalion-sized element, and attacked various little towns. I know they call them something different, but the towns right along the Gaza border, and attacking the border, of course, and obviously committing, mass murder on hundreds and hundreds of people. So, irregardless if you like Israel or not, the fact still remains that they attacked Israel in this case. I don't care if you can bring up that Israel's did this and Israel's did that. Okay, all right, whatever. Okay, I get it. But every time Hamas attacks Israel, Israel has a right to defend itself. And so, of course, they're going to attack back. That's a right of every sovereign nation to do. I wish the United States would do it more. But we're so weak now that we can't even go get our own citizens that are hostages of Hamas right now. We won't even go get them. So, our country is weak and not as strong when it comes to defending our citizens. We're very weak when it comes to defending our citizens. So, I agree that Hamas promoted the current violence that's going on right now. Again, it doesn't matter which side you're on. They provoked the current violence that's going on now by crossing into a sovereign nation and attacking and killing hundreds of Israeli citizens as well as foreign nationals. Innocents. They did, I believe, kill a few IDF soldiers. They knew the time to attack because it was a holiday, I believe. They attacked a concert full of innocents, no security. They knew exactly what they were doing. This was a well-planned, coordinated attack done by Hamas. I believed Iran fully endorsed and supported it despite their objections. I think that's a bunch of nonsense. We all know they support them. They give them weapons. They provide them with training. They do all that stuff. So why would they not approve or give the green light to this latest attack? Okay, Hamas works for Iran. It would be silly not to believe that. Okay? Despite their denials, I believe Iran was behind it. Or if nothing else, knew all about it and knew they were doing it. So, I have no problem with what the Israeli government is doing. They are obviously trying to target their bombings and whatnot, but nothing is perfect and nothing is going to hit exactly what you want every time. There is going to be some collateral damage. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. You know, when you are in a conflict or in a war, it's silly to think that you can do war or conflict without civilians dying. That's silly and preposterous. That's silly. And what's wrong with trying to fight wars and conflicts is that there are too many rules. And there are no rules in war. Because the rules we have don't work. I mean, every little person, civilian that's killed is plastered all over the media and everybody's blaming each other for whatever. That's what's going to happen in conflict and war. People are going to die. Innocents will get caught in the crossfire. That's just the way it is on both sides. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And to think otherwise is silly. And you need to grow up. Welcome to the real world. That's not how combat works. Combat is not pretty and it's not clean. It's ugly and dirty. And no matter how much technology you have, in the end, it's going to take that soldier, put him boots on the ground to really get the job done. It's just that simple. And since the Israeli government has, quote unquote, declared war on Hamas, you know, the ground invasion will begin soon. When? Who knows? But it will begin soon. So like I said, it really doesn't matter which side you support. You know, if you support terrorists, fine. If you don't, that's fine. I think it's silly for people to support terrorists because the people that are supporting terrorists and supporting Hamas also believe in LGBTQ and they believe in all this other stuff. You think Muslims believe in that? They'll kill you if they find out you're an LGBTQ in their country. But yet you support terrorism and you support Hamas. And some people say, well, no, we support the Palestinians. Well, you need to be very specific on what you support. Because the counter will be, well, you know, you're supporting terrorism. What do you think about what Hamas did? And it's never about what Hamas did. It's always about, well, what is the Israelis doing to the Palestinians? You're skirting the issue. You're avoiding the question. Really, you're cowardly. Answer the question. I have no problem with you saying you support the Palestinians, but you don't support Hamas and what they did. Okay, I can go for that. Because again, I believe there are good Palestinian people that just want to live in peace. That don't support either the Hamas or the Israeli government. They just want to live their lives. Work, support their families. I'm all for that. And I hope all those folk are the ones that fled down south, as instructed by the Israeli government. And then you have Hamas saying, no, don't evacuate, stay here. Well, of course they want to use civilians so that they can parade them over the left media, which is just about every media in the United States and all over the world that supports Hamas. Of course they're going to put that all over television and make Israel look bad because, oh, look, we had a bunch of civilians killed. Like, for example, the hospital just got hit. Well, come to find out, it wasn't the Israelis that bombed it. It was an errant Hamas rocket that hit the hospital, depending on which news report you believe. And that's a whole nother problem. Who can you really believe in the media? You really can't believe anybody. Because they're going to be biased either way, because there's no such thing as unbiased news anymore. So who do you believe? Do you believe a terrorist organization that says Israel's the one that bombed the hospital? Or do you believe the Israeli government said that actually Hamas is the one that accidentally did it? They didn't even say they purposely did. They just said it was an errant rocket that landed in the hospital. You know, because honestly, Do you have proof that Israel has the history of bombing hospitals and just killing civilians just willy-nilly? That would be my question to you. Hamas has that history. They do just kill civilians willy-nilly when they fire them rockets, and they just land wherever. You know, the Iron Dome gets as many as it can, but it doesn't get everything. So Hamas don't care who they kill, but the media says nothing about that. So it's like you can't believe any media at all, and you can try to get something of an unbiased picture of what's going on, but it's extremely difficult. It takes a whole lot of homework and research to try to find unbiased, reporting. It's almost non-existent. So I'm like, okay. So obviously I support Israel. The Bible tells us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, for the Jews. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not saying we should necessarily support the government. Always question government. I believe that they're, for right now, in the right because they were attacked and hundreds and hundreds of people were killed. They have every right to defend themselves to whatever they see fit. I have no problems with that. No problems with that. None. Do I think that after this is all said and done that Prime Minister Netanyahu will still be Prime Minister? Probably not. He's already unpopular before it started. This was kind of an excuse to bolster his popularity. He created the War Council, which is smart. Gets everybody on one accord, gets everybody on the same side. But when it's all said and done, and it comes to a peaceful or some type of either a peaceful resolution or any type of resolution, depending on the resolution, Prime Minister Netanyahu probably won't be Prime Minister too long. Okay, he's a divisive figure in his country, as is our own president. So, as far as the U.S. is concerned, I think we're shoving too much of our own flesh and blood in that area. I think two aircraft carriers is overkill. Sending an aircraft carrier, I agree with, shows strength. I get it, because they're U.S. citizens that are held hostage. I get it. 2 is overkill. Where these 2,000 troops are going, not necessary. I think we need to have a very small footprint. I think we need to let Israel do its thing and try to stay out of it as much as possible, and allow the Israeli special forces to get our citizens if we're too cowardly to do it ourselves. I believe the Israeli government didn't want our special forces in there, but in reality, they got no say-so in it. Some of them folk are our citizens. It doesn't matter what you say or want us to do. We should be like, we respect, your sovereignty and your right, but those are American citizens that are held hostage, as well as Israeli citizens. I think there's some German citizens. We're going to do what we need to do to get our people back. Either you're going to help us or you're not. That's exactly what I would do. I was like, those are American. Some of those are American citizens. Not your responsibility to do that. That's our responsibility. And we're going to go in there and get them. You can either support us or not. It's just that simple. Because every country should do whatever they need to do to protect their citizens. That's the job of government, is to protect their citizens. So I think we're sending too much over there. I think our president is very much a warmonger. We're way too involved in Ukraine. Even though I'm all for Ukraine getting their territory back and kicking Russian butt when they can, I'm all for that. But we're spending too much of our own taxpayer money on that one country. And now that Israel's popping off, who has been an ally a lot longer than Ukraine, that's going to change a lot of things. So, Ukraine better get their stuff together, because I have a feeling they're going to be losing some money. So, it's a real mess, and obviously we all want peace. How that's achieved, I don't know. Obviously, Hamas and Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad can't coexist. I think the Palestinian people can coexist with Israel. I honestly don't understand why they separated the two parts of the Palestinian country between the West Bank and Gaza. I'm not sure why they split it up like that. I'm not understanding the meaning behind that, but whatever. Maybe they did that because that's where the majority of the population was living at, and it was just easier for them to do it that way. I'm not sure why the money that we were given to the Palestinian Authority is not going to building their own power stations, their own water stations, their own infrastructure. Where has that money been going? Where has that money been going? Where's the money been going? Where's that money been going? Because they shouldn't have to rely on Israel to supply their, electricity and water. Why are they getting their stuff from Israel? Why do they not have their own infrastructure when we gave billions of dollars to the Palestinian Authority? Why are they still relying on Israel for that? You're setting yourself up for failure. What do you expect? They just declared war on you. What do you expect? Of course they're going to shut the border down. Of course they're going to shut water and electricity down. What do you expect? Any sensible country at war with another country is going to do the same thing, especially if they're in control of their infrastructure. That's common sense. I don't know why everybody's getting all up in arms. Oh, it's causing a human rights. Yeah, of course it is. But Hamas is to blame for that, not the Israelis. Of course the Israelis are going to cut that stuff off. And innocents are going to suffer for what the few do. That's just what happens. When you allow a terrorist organization to occupy in your country, attack another sovereign country just whenever they feel like it, you don't think you're going to get ramifications? You don't think you're going to suffer some of the ramifications of what they do? Of course you're going to. You can't believe nothing the media says. They're trying to make Hamas out to be the good guys. That's not the case. I don't care if you're a Christian or a Muslim. I can't, I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to get into the differences between the Quran and the Bible and all this other stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. That's for folk that are smarter than me. All I know is that, people can't be surprised what's happening when the Palestinian Authority allows Israel to control their infrastructure. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? When you could have used the millions and billions of dollars to build your own infrastructure so you don't have to rely on Israel for your electricity and water and diesel. You don't have to rely on them. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And then get mad when they cut it off? Well, they just declared war on you. What do you expect? How stupid are people? How brain dead are people? No kind of common sense. They declared war on your country. They declared war on Hamas. Hamas lives in your territory. What do you think is going to happen? You think they're just going to let the electricity and water and all that just flow so that the terrorists that you allow in your country can still use it? No, of course not. Of course not. It's just silly. This whole thing is just silly. But it's been going on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. So, why anybody's surprised by this, I have no idea. I'm not going to get into biblical prophecy. I'm not going to get into all that. I try to keep it pretty common sense and pretty straightforward as much as I can. I'm not trying to get into the religious things about it. Obviously, according to the Bible, we're in the end times. Rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places. I think they had 3 or 4 earthquakes in a week in Afghanistan. So look, I'm not here to do all that. You read the Bible for yourself. I encourage everybody to read the Bible for themselves. If you don't understand it, read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. But it's another thing, to not do your research, not do your homework, to try to get an unbiased view of what's going on. There's always gonna be people on both sides that are gonna support one side or the other. You're always gonna have that. But what we need is an unbiased look at what's going on without all the emotionalism. Okay. And so we'll see. The IDF has killed many terrorists since the incident happened. Many of the leaders of Hamas have been killed. So, we'll see. I think that we'll see. Prayerfully, it doesn't go all out like the potential is. Hopefully, Israel and Hamas duke it out amongst themselves. Hopefully, Hamas and them will duke it out amongst themselves. And it'll all be through, and then go back to the status quo again. We want peace, and that's what we want. But right now, Hamas doesn't want peace. They want conflict. Okay, that's what they're going to get. So don't cry and whine when troops start coming through Gaza to get rid of the terrorists. Don't whine and cry about it. Don't whine and cry about it. So, that's just my little take on it. Again, it doesn't matter which side you take. If you're a supporter of Hamas, or you're a supporter of the Palestinian people, or you're a supporter of Israel, it doesn't matter. In the end, we should not want to see the slaughter of any people, regardless if you agree with their faith or not, regardless if you agree with their politics or not. We shouldn't want to see that. Hamas should be condemned by everybody, to include Muslims, to include Palestinians, because they're getting thrown under the bus because of Hamas. So, that's my take on it. I know there's a lot more expert opinions, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Again, I agree with the Israeli government response, because any country that gets attacked the way Israel did should defend its people and do what they need to do to get their people back from being held hostage. Every country should do that, regardless of the country. Your job as a national government is to protect the people. And when what's the word I'm looking for? non-governmental organization, an NGO. I don't know what you'd call Hamas. Obviously not an NGO, but you know what I mean. When another entity, kidnaps your citizens, you don't just take that sitting down. You go get them. You let them family members of the citizens know, we finna go get your family members. That's what you do. That's what you do. You don't sit back and, oh, well, maybe we'll deal with, other countries as intermediaries. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but in the end, those are U.S. citizens, Israeli citizens, German citizens, whatever. That country is responsible for those citizens, not the intermediaries, not the Egyptians, not the Jordanians, whatever other country they're using to do that. Uh-oh. Am I going the right way here? I think I am. I don't know. Crap. I'm not sure. Let's see. I thought I was going the right way. Maybe I'm not. What is this? Nashville Road? Okay, this is right. I believe this is right. Yeah. Anyways, I'm talking to myself. So, yeah, I think that, that's just my take on it. You might agree, you might disagree. That's fine. You can leave your comments below. Again, be respectful, because I'm not going to try to purposely be disrespectful to anyone. I'm just giving my opinion. And so, that's it. I'm going to leave it at that, and might come back and revisit the subject depending on what happens. But yeah, that's my opinion on what's going on in the Middle East right now. It's kind of sucks that it's happening, but it's been happening so much over the centuries. It's kind of normal, and I hate to say that, but it's just kind of normal. It's just kind of normal. So yeah, so that's it. So like I said, if you have any comments, go ahead and leave them below. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you like this, tell your friends about it. Definitely hit the like button. That helps the algorithm. Again, I appreciate everyone who's who's subscribed. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who stopped through and left comments and liked and all that. I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And so until the next time, I will talk to y'all later on. All right. God bless you.